everyone got enough to eat. If you didn't, as usual, it's your own fault. So, okay, so just a few announcements. The next big event is the school picnic, which is June 6th. And it's open to the public, it's open to the community, and it's at the Red Barn. It starts at noon. White Chip provides the hot dogs and sloppy joes, and then we ask community members to bring a dish to pass. But you don't have to do that, and you can still come and see the kids and wish the graduates good luck. So that's June 6th at the Red Barn.
What time, buddy?
12 o'clock. Yeah, 12 till 1:30. And then on Friday the 13th of June is the open house, and that's when our partners from the county come up here and you can ask questions and talk with them, the services that we're offered, that we offer through YCHIP, through the county. And it will also be a new thing this year because we have new digs. And so it's going to be a meet and greet. You will be able to tour our new offices and the shed out back where we keep our neighbor-to-neighbor equipment, and to meet our new CHA, Committee Health Advocate. Okay, and that's Allison Bordeaux. So she will be here also, as will most of our board members, especially our new board members for this year. So please try to make it. That's between 11 and 1:30 on Friday the 13th. There will be light refreshments. I know if nothing else gets you, that sometimes does. So. Okay, then, oh yes, Mary Lou, where are you? There you are. Okay, the raffle. We always have a raffle, a $25 gift card from Jackson Harbor Soup and Sandwich. And today we're going to have the birthday girl draw the number. So it's happy birthday to Jackie Rader. I don't know, do we dare sing? All right, yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jackie. Happy birthday to you. And okay, she's going to draw the name for the drawing today. Kathy Patel. And also, there you go, Kathy. I want to thank all my volunteers. These luncheons couldn't run smoothly without their help, and they're an amazing group of people, and just thank you very much. This is the last luncheon for the season, but we'll be back again in September. And with that being said, we will now introduce our speaker for today. Okay, you know this gentleman, but you may not know that in a week or so here, he's going to be our new chief of police. Okay, so without further ado, Gary, here you go.
No. No, please don't. Can I have everybody raise their hands? Can everybody hear me without the microphone? If you can't, lower your hands. You can't hear me? Lower your hands if you can hear me. Okay, we have a couple up. I get so dark in the mic. I tried. I don't like microphones. I usually yell pretty loud. My kids will tell you that. Thank you everybody for the invite again. It's been about a year since I was here last, and the questions kept on coming. I think we got out of here about 3 o'clock. So today I'm planning on until 6. So if you have anything going on, you can leave now. No, I'm kidding. It's going to be kind of an open showed a lot of interest last time. But if you have any questions of me, law enforcement, EMS, NWTC, let's see what other hats do I wear. Fire department, any of them, please feel free to ask. That's why I'm here. So I'm going to put on my EMS hat first because that's why I'm really here. To talk about some of the questions you guys came up with last time and hopefully answer some new ones. And you guys can raise your hand, you can scream at me, that's okay, I get screamed at all day long. So, usually, officer works, I mean, I've been called other things, but we can go with whatever, so. So I'm just gonna look at the way the agenda was written out, and we'll start there. So what happens when EMS, or you call 911 to your house? That's one of the questions that comes up a lot. What's gonna happen? Am I gonna get forced off this island? Am I going to have to pay $750 for a boat trip? Am I going to have to do all these things? The answer to that is yes and no. It all depends on you. They don't like us kidnapping people, so we have to have your permission sometimes. Sometimes we don't need your permission, and that's when you're unconscious or can't answer certain questions that I have. Like, do you know who you are? Do you know what day it is? I am never going to ask you who the President of the United States is. I don't want that fight in my ambulance. Okay? I don't care which side you sit on. It's just a question I ask. I'm going to ask you things like, do you know where you are? Do you know your name, your date of birth? It's all stuff I need for my report anyway. And then I might ask you something like, I don't know, what was the weather like yesterday? And that tells me that you are able to refuse care, if you can answer those questions for me. If you can't answer those questions, then we have to start looking at why. So we will do a full assessment. We'll try to figure out why. It might be your baseline normal. So we might ask one of your family. We're all a little crazy, right? We all have a little bit of crazy. We all forget about something. I was trying to figure out what my wife wanted for supper tonight. I would fail the test. I'm going to have to call her on the way home and find out what I have to pick up at the store. But little things like just not knowing where you are. You've lived here all your life, you've lived in the house all your life, and you don't know where you are. Most likely you have a medical emergency going on, and we would at that point have to take you by law. So if you refuse at that point, then I have to flip hats on, put on the police hat, and take you a different way. We really don't like that. We are way better at talking to you. I probably talk most people in the ambulance without any kind of needing to go further with the chapters that we have to do. So, any questions on that so far? Nobody's going to take you out of your house unless you can't answer my questions. Fair?
I think the last time we talked about like opening the door. So if I live alone and I am unconscious in the bathroom and the door is locked, how do you
Yep.
get in?
I will get in your house, I promise you. I have a fire department with lots of tools, and they like to use them. They just need a reason. Do you need a new front door? If you just tell me what door you would like us to kick in, that would be great. No. We do have the lock boxes yet at the fire department. We do sell them for $100. It basically covers the cost of the box. And then we have 5 key holders on the island. They all have to have background checks. We have to call dispatch letting them know we're using the lockbox. So there's a process and a report process for that. I'm sorry I didn't bring any with me today. It's just a little box. Anybody in here have them? Are you pretty used to them by now? They don't even look ugly anymore. Like the first week they're ugly. Yes. They are $100. The cost for the fire department is $120. So Washington Island Fire Rescue Inc., the fundraising, the t-shirts you buy, the sweatshirts you buy, that goes into the rest of the box. And then you get to see my lovely face because I'm also the trained installer. So I come in and I put that in for you. And then we go through the key and we lock it away.
Now, I know most people, some people, they never lock the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. But our police,
Your new police chief would say, always lock the door.
I
fire chief came in right after and turned it and it opened. That's kind of embarrassing. That was not up here, that was Sheboygan, where I came from. It was a brand new rookie, just got his pager. He was gonna save the world. So, yes sir.
What's the relationship then between the EMS coming out to the house and the clinic, the medical clinic here?
Two separate agencies.
Yep.
So the clinic is a long-term, everyday, dealing with your medications, that stuff. The ambulance is emergencies, heart attacks. If you don't know, call 911. We will do an assessment. If you feel you're fine and we feel you're fine, we will suggest talking to your doctor the next day. Making a phone call to the clinic or whoever your caregiver is. We have absolutely no relationship other than we have a really good relationship with our clinic. We don't do the same thing they do, which is, I wouldn't want her job. I've been in EMS for 32 years, I'll be on the ambulance. So, does that answer your question? Ish?
The clinic is not an ER.
Yeah.
Okay?
A clinic is a clinic. If an ER has a lot more staff, they have a lot more abilities to draw blood. They can do a lot more instantly at an ER than they can in a clinic. Am I wrong? Okay. They have X-ray capabilities, MRI, CAT scans, all the things. That's where we're taking you.
Although if you get an MRI in the ER, you're really sick.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can bypass a line in an MRI machine, you probably don't belong at Door County Medical Center. You belong down in Green Bay where they have surgeons available. So.
The other thing is they have medical direction. They
Yep.
have a physician that provides their medical direction, which is not us.
Yeah. So we fall under the ER. Our license, so my license is held by the doctors down in the ER, and then my license covers all the EMRs and EMTs on the island as their trainer. Does that make a little sense? Good? Okay. Right there. See? I couldn't pass the test. So when you call 911, people say, well, we want it to be a silent run. We hear that all the time, right? I don't want my neighbors to know you're coming. Guess what? You call 911, tough. We actually have the ability to go lights and sirens even though you don't want us to. We will do our best to shut down lights and sirens if we can, but remember, you call 911. This is your emergency. It's not our emergency. And that's how I train my group. This is not, if you call me for a splinter, guess what? You're getting lights and sirens. One, they look cool. They're kind of fun. But we will make a decision at that point whether it's an emergent run or non-emergent run. So, is that clear? Clear as mud? Awesome. Okay. The other thing that's going to happen is you are going to get a house full of guests. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not great, right? When a bad thing happens, we want everybody there. I do as the EMT crew. Because I'm rolling in, I want all the help I can get. We average right now about 4 EMRs per call. Now, if we hear a 2-year-old drowning at Schoolhouse Beach, that will grow to about 30. Things change. What you tell dispatch and what they tell us over the radio a lot of times will dictate whether or not I'm getting out of bed. I'm out of bed anyway, so it doesn't matter, I'm coming. Perfect example is I set off my life alert. And dispatch can't get a hold. Does anybody have a life alert, if you don't mind me asking? Okay, it's a little button that you can push. 911 gets called after your loved ones get called first. If they don't get an answer, the ambulance is getting dispatched. So we will come because we think you are passed out on the floor. Okay? We will go lights and sirens and you're going to wake up from your bed and wonder why the heck I have a house full of people. I've seen it about 4 times this week. It happens a lot. People sleep on it. The button is very sensitive. The pillows, if you, lay on it, it will push those. All you have to do is answer the phone, and that will cancel the rescue squad, if you do have one of those things.
What about smartwatches?
I hate them. If you press multiple buttons on it, they also call 911.
Well,
Yeah.
or if you found something real hard.
Yeah, I just got dispatched.
They ask you first, though. Yeah, they ask you.
Yeah, it's great unless you have that favorite song, your favorite Elton John song on. And you got it cranked and you can't hear the phone.
Your buzzes on your wrist.
Yeah, a lot of people don't hear it or feel it. So I had one. It was a Apple Watch called 911 for a car crash. I went, whoa, and nobody's answering the phone. So I get there on scene and there's nobody there, no car, no nothing. But I found the Apple Watch. It fell off their wrist, it hit the ground and called 911. So, it's made for the gravity. There is something in there that tells you all of a sudden it had a sudden stop. And that means it crashed. So, the other thing is Apple phones and Android phones, if you have a smartphone, if you push a series of buttons,
Yes.
it will automatically call 911. Yep. So on mine, it's a 2-button system. You can turn it off. If you're gonna sit in your camp chair and put it in your cup holder, it likes to push those 2 buttons all the time. I go to the campground probably 4 times a month during the summer just for a 911 hang up. Because they put it in their camp chair. So you gotta tell them, put your beer in there. Put the phone away. You're camping. All right? You don't need the phone. It's all about the selfie, I guess. I don't know. So you can turn that setting off until you need it. It was actually created by a dad who sent his beautiful daughter to college, and he wanted her to be able to call 911 without anybody noticing. So he created the app that does it, and she could carry it in her purse, and she could just be walking and push those 2 buttons if she was in trouble. It's brilliant until you buy a camp chair. They are not fans of camp chairs. Every 911 hang up pretty much at the campground is due to a camp chair. So, let's see. So we get there on scene. We are everything. We are the babysitters, the dog sitters. Not so much anymore since Linda retired. Our favorite dog sitter left. And that's one of the things I want to talk about with the go bags. If you have pets, if you have cats, dogs, fish, like I do, I don't deal with snakes. If you have snakes, that's not you. So, I have a cure for a snake. I'm just not going to talk about it at this meeting. But some things you want to have with you to go to the hospital is a cell phone, charger, clean underwear, like your mom always told you, always have clean underwear. You don't have to change it before we get there. That's not a big deal. Just have them for the ride home. Right. If you're unconscious, they're just coming off. I have a scissors for just about anything. And it will cut off everything. Some other things I just kind of had in mind. If you want somebody to watch the house, a list that you can hand us, believe it or not, our group will make phone calls. They will arrange your next week if you go to the hospital. We've done it. Make sure you have your battery charger, your phones, medications. A list of medications at least. The hospital will give you medications if you need it, if they have it in stock. I had one patient we sent down without medications, and it was a rare medication. We could not find it. So they actually had to source it out of Milwaukee before the patient could have it. I don't even remember the name of it. It was weird. With medications, the pharmacy takes care of that at the hospital. But a list of medications is good. So if it's not in best system or whoever they're dealing with up here, because you live somewhere else in winter, that way at least the hospital will know what you're on. Okay? Having your medications in one location, it's really hard to remember that nighttime medication when it's not sitting on the bedstand, right? EMTs and first responders don't want to rifle through your personal belongings. It's just where you can say, hey Gary, they're all here. I'm not gonna probably take them to the hospital. I'm probably gonna take a bunch of pictures of them. That works better for me. I know it's cheaper on you, because I'm not taking them and the hospital throws them away and now you have to rebuy them. Seen that before. Emergency contact, go ahead.
I wanted, you started to talk about pets.
Yep.
So what do you need if there's a pet? What do you want?
I would love a phone number of a caregiver for that pet.
Okay.
Who you trust? Somebody on the island verbally?
Or somebody who knows them, or somebody who
Yeah.
can take care of.
I am not taking care of Cujo. Bites my ankle 16 times. I have German Shepherds. I don't like the little ones. I'll take care of the big ones. But we have a lot of people on this island that will take care of pets. We have a lot of kids. Dr. Travis has come and picked them up before because he has a rapport with the dogs and cats. So he's taken a couple of them in if we knew they were going to be longer than 24 hours, especially with cats. So a list. Since we're talking about the list, the file of life. Does everybody know what those are?
On the table.
Chip and EMS put these together after, I don't know, was it Door County that used to do them in the red file of lives? We did a little bigger one, just because on the back, it says, must keep in go bag, or ideas to keep in go bag, change of clothes, socks, underwear, pants, shirt, social security number, money, credit card. I always tell everybody to take at least $100 and hide it, so when you're cleaning, you can at least find $100. When you went, oh, I went through my go bag and I found $100. $100 will at least get you a hotel room in Sturgeon Bay, most of the time. So if you do get released from the hospital, if you don't have a credit card, at least you got that $100 to go to McDonald's and get that blood pressure back up and cholesterol. I mean, who doesn't like McDonald's? It's a good eat now. So, this also has your medications on it. So if you don't want that list, you can put it right on here. Another thing, I know the clinic does it. They will print out your medications for you. It's updated. Staple it right to this thing. Put it on the refrigerator. It's ugly as sin, but that's where my EMTs look. We always go to the refrigerator because we like leftovers. No, we just know I've told enough people over the years to put them on the refrigerator because it's just an easy thing to see. If you put it in the freezer, I'm probably not going to find it, but I will find the ice cream and popsicles. It also has just basic medical conditions. This is if you put on there that I have Alzheimer's, I probably don't need to take you if you're forgetting things, right? We go back to those 4 things that I need to be able to figure out. If it's your normal, that's a good thing. That's your normal. I can't really take you on your normal. So I'll leave, there are some here, the EMS does have more. Do you have a bunch of these, Louise? So they'll be out and about. It also has emergency contacts on there. And if you wanted to put your dog sitter on there too, perfect. Okay? What else did I have for that? Purse, wallet, and caregivers for your go bag. So, any question on what you should have in your bag or what's going to happen if I show up? No? You're going to get to see my smiley face at 2 in the morning. Let's talk about your wants and wishes. I know that was a big topic last year when I talked, is what's going to happen if I have a medical emergency and I don't want you to do something, right? I don't want CPR, I don't want the tubes, I don't want all those things. You have to do that legally, okay? There's a form, it's called a living will, and advanced directives, and there's a couple different ones that will tell you what we can and cannot do. They're very clear. I don't want a tube. I don't want CPR. What are some of the other ones we've seen, Joan?
I don't want a helicopter.
That does not work. Nice try.
I tried.
You can try.
The first one I got away with, the second one I didn't like.
I was really because he wasn't there.
Okay, I don't have Medicare, so I can't answer that. I don't do the billing for the ambulance service, actually, it's done through Door County. Last time I heard, it was $1,000 out of pocket.
There is a deductible.
There is a deductible.
I've heard
But-
horror stories.
Oh, yeah. Well, when you get the bill for $32,000, yeah. But just remember, your EKG is 35.
Yeah.
So, what's a helicopter at that point?
And everything.
Green Bay, 69,000.
69,000.
Oh, Green Bay. Green Bay.
Well, that's all we go.
You don't wanna go to door.
Yeah.
No.
We go, so if you go by helicopter, you're going to Green Bay, because you need a surgeon or a cardiologist or someone way smarter than me. And I'm not very smart.
If you look at your maximum out of pocket, that is the maximum that you will pay.
Okay, for a helicopter? Helicopters, they only want a couple things from us. So major trauma, revive from CPR, and a stroke. Those are the big three. If you have either one of those, you've just earned yourself a helicopter.
So say that again, which one?
Stroke, heart issues, or major trauma, multi-system traumas. Those are guaranteed our protocol, that's what we do. Now, they always happen at 2 o'clock in the morning on the windiest day, and the helicopter doesn't fly anyway, so. But we've been pretty good. If we call for a helicopter, they're coming. We've been pretty lucky that they don't turn us down. And if we call for a helicopter, you're pretty sick. Or have a history of being sick, and now your signs and symptoms are there for that also. I don't ever want to have to go in a helicopter, but if I need a helicopter, I want to be in it. So, and my insurance won't pay for it. So, bankruptcy and all, yeah. That's what I'm doing. No. Any questions on a helicopter? No guest can go on the helicopter unless you're a parent with a small child. There is weight restrictions. They will actually ask their weight prior to them flying, and they will find the smallest nurse in the hospital if they have to bring along, because they with fuel and all the things that go with it, they'll just grab whoever they can to fill the helicopter. There's no room.
So if the advance directive says, I don't want anything.
We would have to call, usually advanced directives won't go into transport. They will dictate what happens on the transport, but they usually do not dictate how we transport. I'd be interested to see one that said, do not transport by helicopter.
I'm more like, do not resuscitate.
Yep, do not resuscitate is easy. Everybody should have one.
But thinking of it practically, if you're do not intubate, do not CPR.
You're not going by helicopter.
Why do you need a helicopter?
Exactly. So, you'd be pretty far down the road for us to get into a helicopter. Anything else on helicopters, Joe?
We're doing active CPR, they won't come.
Yep. We don't even transport if we're doing CPR.
Wait, say it again?
We don't actually transport. If we are in the middle of CPR, you are not moving until we get purposeful movement. That's what we're looking for. If somebody opens up their eyes and says, ouch, we'll stop CPR. That's about the only time. And at that point, we can transport. So,
Has that happened?
yes,
The fingernails on your wrists are another good.
that's a good clue.
Like quick
Yeah.
consequences.
Them saying ow. That's bad. Yeah, we've actually resuscitated more people on this island than I have in my 32 years in this. It's incredible. And the only thing I can say is we all carry AEDs, and we are there within our average EMR on scene time is about 32 seconds. We're not bad.
Yeah.
Get that anywhere else in the world. But there's a reason why I have 27 EMRs. People say, well, how many do you have to show up at my house? If I'm doing CPR, I want them all. Because we get tired fast. I'm also a CPR instructor, so you can do 2 minutes of CPR properly before you get tired, and it's ineffective after that. That's what the national standard says. So, 2 minutes times 27, I can do CPR for a long time, and then we can rotate.
Lucas, tell them about the.
We do have a Lucas machine. It's our people squeezer. It actually is an automatic. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Very expensive, but it's neat. It works well. It allows me to feel like I'm not doing anything on scene. You're just kind of going, now what? Because it does all the CPR for you. It's pretty incredible.
It does the compressions.
Yep.
That is the
We
same
still have to do
thing.
the breathing and the
Yeah.
intubating and,
Just
and those
helps-
things, but
It just helps with our, stamina,
yeah.
you know.
It allows us to have an 89-year-old EMT on the island. So, and I'll take him as a partner any day. So living will is a document that outlines preferences that you want. You and your family decide. So it has to be done by an attorney. It's got to be written up correctly. It's got to say all the things your doctor signs off on. Do you guys actually sign off on them up here?
We do them all, we
You do.
fill them out.
So if you want help with a living will,
We don't need an attorney.
beautiful. That's changed. I love it. So you can talk to your primary caregiver and they can help you, walk you through that process.
So where should these documents be? So if I live alone and nobody's there to bring this out, should this be in my go bag? Where should this be?
If you have this document, what I would tell you is get a medical bracelet. In the state of Wisconsin, the medical bracelet that says DNR, and it's an official legal bracelet that is okay in the state of Wisconsin. We do not need the paperwork and the bracelet. We need one or the other. So, don't get one like my mom's. Did I tell you the story? She's got a beautiful medical alert bracelet. It's one you wear to church, sparkly. It doesn't have anything with the staff or the snake. It's just a bracelet. It's got a couple of fake diamonds on it. You would never know it's an emergency bracelet.
Yep.
It's absolutely stunning. She got it at a jeweler. She thought it was a great idea because she would wear it. I said, Mom, get the ugliest one you can find that's bright red because I will look at that. So, and you can get those at Walgreens, Walmart. I think you can even order it through your primary care.
But the DNR one has to go through a specific company for the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, it is a standard size. Illinois is a little bit different. Florida, I'm just trying to pick the people we have in here. Florida, Texas is standardized with Wisconsin, I believe. So, let's see.
So can you honor the ones that are from different states?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would call medical control. Say we have a Texas DNR, and they would honor that.
So if I wore mine and I was in California, they would.
California's different.
Yeah, I know.
That's another place I won't ask a question. We won't blame you for that.
Okay, that's good.
I heard it was nice once.
Don't hold it against me.
Medical power of attorney and healthcare proxy. This is the one people get messed up a lot on. This is not a DNR. This is just stating that what you want, who you want your medical decisions to be. Don't have it your worst enemy and your beneficiary on your life insurance policy. Okay? This is the person that if you can't make decisions in the hospital, they will make those decisions for you.
Only after it's activated.
After it's activated. Yeah.
So you're at the scene, that isn't activated.
No.
You are not, your power of attorney is not making decisions at the scene
No.
for you.
No. They actually don't own the ambulance with those either. It's once it's activated inside the hospital. So, it means you can't be put on, they can make the decision whether you're on or off a machine. Those are conversations you have with a loved one that knows your wishes. Okay?
And then it gets activated, because people should know that.
I was gonna say, I can't because I don't work in a hospital.
POA for healthcare, I can activate it at the office also, it doesn't have to be at the hospital. POA for healthcare can be activated when you are no longer deemed competent to make your own decisions. And that can be because you just had a major stroke and aren't responding in the hospital, or it can be because the family is now recognizing that maybe your faculties are not what they once were, and they would like to get it activated because you are not physicians and 2 NPs. But depending on how old your POA for healthcare papers are, it may specify who can activate it. And the old ones specify only physicians and psychiatrists. So, that excludes the NPs from that process.
And I've seen it where it's a specific doctor. So if they can't get a hold of that doctor, you're out of luck. I only want Dr. So-and-so
They-
activating my
they-
phone too.
They might be dead.
Yeah.
is the-
Pretty basic, yeah.
Those are the
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it's-
I have the same
Because it's a
question,
legal
so
document.
where should that document be?
On the refrigerator. Every time I walk in a house, I'm not judging your refrigerator. If you see me looking into the kitchen, I'm not judging your sink full of dishes. I'm really looking for the file of life and information. Okay?
But
Usually what people do is the reason why I pick the refrigerator is that's where we keep our important phone numbers. I remember that's where the Mr. Yuck sticker used to be at our house. It was the neighbor next door who we would call if we got in trouble and my parents weren't there. Like tried to burn down the basement. It happens when you're a boy and have fireworks. Whatever. Nobody judge.
anytime they fill out this QA for healthcare papers, whether they fill it out at a doctor's office, or they fill it out at their attorney, or they fill it out somewhere, if you take it to your doctor, they can scan it into that healthcare system. And they'll give you the original back. At that point, once it's scanned into a healthcare system, other healthcare systems can recover it from them, so that they can.
As long as those healthcare talk.
They talk to each other.
So,
It's called a phone call to the night supervisor.
yeah, most of them will talk.
It still works,
Yeah.
phone calls.
It used to be a lot pickier because of HIPAA, and everybody was scared of HIPAA laws. So like, a nurse wouldn't talk to a nurse about healthcare. It's ridiculous. So you just say, okay, bill me for 50 cents, and now you're covered under HIPAA. Any other, no? Do not resuscitate, we kind of talked about. That is CPR. That is it. So I can still do all kinds of stuff. I can still give you aspirin. I can still give you nitro. I can still give you, I can splint you. Do not let a do not resuscitate scare you. A do not resuscitate is that. We will not go beyond CPR. Okay? That is it. We aren't going to put a tube down your throat. We're not going to do any of those things. We can still give you epinephrine if you're allergic reaction. That is not covered under do not resuscitate until you have to be resuscitated. So, Narcan, we can still give you Narcan, we can still give you Epi, we can still give you your nitro, all those kinds of things we can still do with a do not resuscitate. It just says that I am not going to do CPR or intubate you. Okay?
I have a personal question.
Yep.
I have an EpiPen for bees.
Perfect.
If the instruction says if I stab myself, I need to call.
911. Yeah.
That's what I.
Yeah, so epinephrine is about a 5-minute block of time. Most people need 4 doses before we actually see enough improvement where they're stable on their own.
Okay, so one is just to kind of cover the time.
That's
for
just to get
get
you to the 911.
Yeah, got
We do carry Epi on the ambulance. I don't carry my EpiPen for bees.
it. You need to.
Yeah, they're too expensive. I had one fly into my helmet. That's how I found out that I was allergic to. That was exciting. At,
Sorry.
at
60 miles an hour?
70. It was on the interstate.
Yeah.
Right before I got to Manitowoc County. Into my helmet, stung me 18 times in the back of the head.
Oh my God.
I was allergic to them. What did I do?
Why?
See? Yeah. So, yeah. It's an emergency drug. Call 911. I won't ever tell you to give yourself Benadryl by yourself. That's another good one that we cannot give you. But everybody should have Benadryl.
I have that too.
Yeah. I can't give you Benadryl. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Huh.
If you have an allergic reaction, you gave yourself an EpiPen, I might tell you to go find your Benadryl while I check my bag for something else I can't do. I don't give medical advice I can't, but Benadryl will work better.
Then the EpiPen?
The EpiPen is now, the Benadryl will be over time.
Got it.
Liquid Benadryl, drinkable, not the pills.
Yes.
Oh.
Baby Benadryl.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Baby Benadryl, it's quicker, it works a lot faster. So,
Baby Benadryl.
children's Benadryl, anything liquid. Yeah.
That's because when you take a pill, sits in your mucosa
Yeah.
to dissolve, and your GI tract and everything else slows down in the middle of an anaphylaxis.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna do anything, whereas the liquid is gonna.
Quick. Yep. It's nice having a doctor here. I look so smart. Or really don't want to. Yeah, really, I teach this stuff. No. The other ones, you can have physician orders for life-sustaining treatment. That's going to be all your outlining of certain treatments. Like, okay, if I go into liver failure, you can fix that, but I don't want you fixing this problem. If I have cancer, we can treat that, but I don't want you to mend my broken heart. Whatever it is. Okay? It's very specific what you can and cannot treat at the doctor's level. It means absolutely nothing to me in the ambulance. Okay? If you show me that, I'll be like, cool, we'll send it with us. Because I don't even know what it is. No. Other advanced directives I've seen is who gets the dog. That usually happens in a will, but I've seen it on an advanced directive. Mental health treatment preferences, that's very new to Wisconsin. It is an advanced directive. Do you deal with those at all?
I encourage clients to when they fill out their forms,
Okay.
to be specific about that.
That it covers the mental health stuff also?
That it covers it, or that it does not. If
Okay.
they are suicidal and they don't want it, then they need to put that in.
Yeah, and I believe suicidal, I don't believe it covers under the chapter laws. I think they get bounced on that.
Well, yeah,
But,
it's legal, so
Yep.
you would have to respond.
yep,
I would have to respond, but they can still put it in.
right.
It's kind of like the care packet that hospice gives people.
Yep.
It's kind of in that same
It's more
line
towards the hospice
thing.
end of.
Right.
Another
Under-
ugly one I
under
want to talk
51,
about.
Gary, on the 51, you can always take
Yeah.
someone in.
Yeah, exactly. Is the hospice, the life comfort, end of life comfort. If you and your families don't want to sit with a law enforcement officer for 3.5 hours, if one of your loved ones pass away, get yourself on hospice. Hospice is not, we will not do anything for you. Hospice is a care. It's just like having a physician. It's just part of your care team. But if you are on hospice or those kinds of things, we don't have to call up the medical examiner. They don't have to make the boat. With the funeral home, all of the things. These are all long-term issues. I believe Wisconsin let up on how long you can be on hospice now. They're working on, it used to be, I remember when hospice was like, okay, you have 3 weeks to live. Whoa. I got some things I have to take care of, right?
It still gets researched.
Okay.
I think it's 6 months
I
now,
think it's 6
and then
months
it goes
now.
into
And then they'll
palliative
research
care.
for another 6.
Yeah, it could go into palliative care and back to hospice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll bounce you back and forth between the two. But if you pass and you're not on hospice, there's a death investigation that happens. It's on everybody. It doesn't matter if you are 85 or if you are 16. Okay? The medical examiner comes out of Brown County, they do an investigation, and then they decide if it's suspicious or not suspicious death. So, hospice, don't let that word scare you. It's a great thing for your family. For people that have been through hospice, it's
And I can't get you on hospice tomorrow.
right.
So
It
if
takes time.
somebody is taking a turn for the worse, this is not the time. You
Yeah.
have to kind of anticipate. It takes at least a week these days to make
Yeah.
that happen.
Yeah.
And so we need a little lead time.
Yeah.
You can't, it isn't gonna happen.
Exactly. So with the hospice also, things don't happen as quickly. It's more laid back. I won't even be there as a law enforcement officer. I'll show up as an EMR if you call 911. But if you are on hospice, it is a very laid back, we take our time. You can sit with the funeral home longer. It's not a, we need to get you down to Brown County kind of thing. It's hard to talk about. I was scared of hospice before I moved up here. I think it's a beautiful thing. I wish I could be on it now. I'm too young. So, just for my family's benefit.
Hospice also provides like musical therapy
All kinds of
and
stuff.
in the
Yeah.
home.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And most of it's covered, which is nice.
So you said if you're too young, so there's an age that you should?
No,
There's a lot of different things involved.
no, you can, my daughter was on hospice, she was 17.
Yeah.
Diagnosis.
You can be on it if you have a health condition. It's usually multiple
And
things.
they think you are going to pass within a 6 month period.
Yeah, yeah. That's something you can have a conversation with your healthcare provider, and they can discuss that with you. So, usually with hospice, you automatically get a DNR processed. You get all the advanced directives usually get started at that point.
It is not required to be on hospice.
Right.
However, it's encouraged.
Absolutely, especially up here.
They are awesome.
They are fantastic.
They really are awesome.
They have a
care provider as well,
Yeah,
so that's, and you get hired.
yep, yeah. It's a big mental strain on the family.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, as someone enters in hospice, I encourage family members, especially the spouse, to seek mental health counseling, because that's
Yeah.
one of the hardest things to have to go through by yourself.
okay, any other medical questions, comments, concerns?
Just to be clear, if there is a DNR, you will do everything but
Yeah.
like the,
DNR is just compressions and airway. I will even give you oxygen. Yeah. I can give you albuterol and Atrovent. I can do a lot of stuff. I just can't intubate you and I can't push on your chest. And I can't
Got
intubate.
it.
And believe me, it confuses the ICU nurses too, because they to this day do not understand how someone can be a DNR but still ends up in the ICU.
Yep.
Because there are other conditions that are getting treated, like pneumonia.
Yeah.
They're not a do not treat. A do not treat is a total different pathway. There's a do not treat, which Gary doesn't address, but the do not treat pathway, yeah, then you go to regular bed until you pass away, or you go home. But a do not resuscitate, you could still be in the ICU for conditions.
Yeah. And that's where you want your advanced directives taking over some of that stuff.
That's why I'm treated and what you don't want.
A DNR only covers intubation and compressions and shock. The rest you have to specify through your advanced directives. Anything else before I move on?
and you don't deal with that on the ambulance, the advanced directives. That happens in the ER.
I'll look at them, depending on what they are, and then we'll call our protocol doctor. If they say, this patient doesn't want X, X, and X, they don't want any kind of, I don't know, let's say oxygen, and they have that piece of paper, we would still call the hospital, explain to them we have the advanced directives, and then they give us direction at that point.
Oh, what to do, got it.
Yeah. A lot of those kinds of things don't work in an ambulance, but we always try to go with the family and the patient's wishes. And our protocol doctors are very good at it. So, any other EMS questions, medical, ambulance? Come on, you guys beat me up way worse last year.
With a lot of the, B&B, can't think of the word now, where people rent out their houses.
Airbnbs?
Yeah,
Yep.
Airbnb. Is it a good idea for the renters to have their own information
Yeah.
available?
Yeah,
Yeah. Because you get calls of people that are on vacation and you don't know what's going on with them at all, or,
yeah, and it's hard to make a visitor do anything,
yeah.
especially at 2 o'clock in the morning after they left Nelson's or Middlebuck.
Yeah.
Well, no kidding.
It's a whole nother mess of things. And then there are Any other questions medical wise? Ambulance, emergency medicine up here. Anybody have the helicopter insurance? Back to the helicopter? Did it work?
Yes.
Yes. I thought it was a fake when the guy was up here. This was probably 12 years ago. I kind of went, really? That's a thing? So, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
If you want more information, I don't have any, but Beth obviously would have it. So I know we have multiple patients that do have it, and they said we'd rather call the helicopter because it's cheaper than the ambulance.
Oh.
So,
Well, I know about a year and a half ago, you went out and there was a helicopter involved and it didn't cost anything.
yeah. Yeah, and if
Medicare.
depends on how it gets coded, on our chart. If we do well, the cost goes down,
Yeah.
which the biggest bill out of pocket I saw was $1,000.
Yeah.
So, with Medicare and health insurance and things.
Yeah.
Do you have a question, somebody over here? Thought I saw a set of hands.
Yeah, they actually changed that just a couple of years ago, that places like us, which is not easily accessible, they don't really question that then anymore as much as they used to.
They don't question you, they question me.
They always, yeah, they will always.
I have to justify why we are calling the helicopter, and if I do a good job in the justification, so please tell me you have chest pains and, okay.
When you're making that determination, are you making that determination when they call dispatch and they're relaying that info to you? Or do you
So
have-
how it normally happens is we get paged, our pager goes off. So Joan right now is the only one, her and her partner are the only ones that have to go on this island. This is a good point. So they're the only two that have the duty to act. The rest of us can sit back and watch it all happen. We are at that point just good Samaritans. We can watch and go, Joan, you're not doing it right. Who's your partner? So Joan and Lee are the only ones that have to get up today off their chairs and say, I'm gonna go to the ambulance. Everybody else can stay home. We are volunteers unless we are getting paid by Door County. So Joan and Lee are the only two that are making money right now. Big money. $7.25 an hour.
Wow.
That is what she is worth to us.
No.
We get $7.25 an hour just to be on call. That means no matter what time, no matter what we're doing, means Joan can't go sit at Schoolhouse Beach because our pagers don't always work there. But we have to be ready and eager to go at any time. Drop that. You turn off your lawnmower and you go. So everybody else can stay home, right? The rest of the group, whoever shows up at your house, has chosen to be there. So thank those guys. Not the ones in that uniform, but the other ones. They're the important ones because they're the ones that do all the lifting, right?
Yes.
I do like all the
Thank
other
God.
ones.
Yeah, thank God they
Yeah.
show up.
But your point was, what do we decide on, when do we?
So yeah, so that page comes in, Joan and Lee are en route. While they're en route, they listen to the page information, and the patient said they had previous heart issues. They took 3 nitroglycerin, which is a pill they put under their tongue with it. My max is 7, so 3 is not bad. 7 was the most. But at that point, with those signs and symptoms that she's hearing, she can ask the helicopter, check the availability of the helicopter. And all we're doing at that point is, can they fly and will they fly? Then they have to go to their office, look at a weather report, find out it's like drizzling in Green Bay and bright sunny here in Washington. They decide that they can't fly or can fly. At that point, they'll ask the crew, do you want us to fly? And the crew will confirm or deny. Eagle 3 and Theta Star have both told us that send them at any time, we can cancel them at any time. And there is no charge unless they pick up the patient. So they've been fantastic for this island. We've had them land here, not take the patient, and the patient never got a bill. They use it as training. To get certified for a helicopter, they have to fly over water, they have to fly at night. So they use this as a training mission every time they come up here. So it's kind of nice. Yeah.
What happens in an emergency with an ambulance? Ambulance, boat, do they get transferred?
Another ambulance.
they get transferred, right?
Yep, yep.
Always.
We only cover, well, I shouldn't say only, we've done it where we're covering Sister Bay because there's a major incident. But yeah, you get transported by us, we get you on the boat, we don't just leave you on the boat, we go with you. Get to the other side and then we transfer to the paramedics at the other end. And then they take you the hour and a half or wherever they go,
Yeah.
so. Everybody's going to Door County unless you fix a couple boxes, then we'll ask you where you wanna go. If you tell me before I even figure out what's going on with you, if you say, I need to go to Aurora in Green Bay, your insurance company will only pay for the ride to Sturgeon Bay. That is our home hospital. After that, you are responsible for that cost from Sturgeon Bay to Green Bay. So be very careful on choosing your hospital. That's not on me, that's a state law. It's closest hospital. If your signs and symptoms say they should go to Aurora, we can justify that. We take care of that in our charter. But if you just got a tickle in the back of your throat and you want to go to Freighter Hospital in Milwaukee, you're going to see a bill for that. So,
Yeah, it's about the specialist that you're needing or that you think
Yep.
you're needing, yeah.
yep. You got to click a bunch of boxes to get there.
Is there any work being done on getting insurance to pay for the boat? Before COVID, I was working with Adam down in Joel's office in Madison.
Mm-hmm.
And we started working on this and talking about it. And then COVID came along and it's all fallen apart. But I just wondered if anything's happening because when we get to the ferry dock, we're on Highway 42. When we get on the other side of the water, we're on Highway 42. And there was, the boat is an extension of the highway. And Joel didn't even understand that to begin with when we started talking about it maybe 5, 6 years ago. And I said, if it's an extension, if the boat is an extension of the highway to get us from one part of the highway, we don't have a bridge, why won't the insurance pay for the boat? And so he was working on it. And he
So
said,
the easiest answer I can give you, and it sounds crappy, is it's because the boat has a motor.
right, and it's because.
I'm not even kidding.
It's
So Medicare and your insurance companies will pay for one form of transportation.
Yeah, it was something that had to do with a sort of designating the boat as an emergency vehicle kind of a thing.
Yeah,
And it has to go through the legislature. So,
and the licensure process.
but is anything happening to get that
No,
fixed
No.
for us?
I was gonna say, when I first started, I got that question a lot, and I was told, because Frank Maxwell was working on it when I started at White Chip, and I was told it was because they're not just a medical transport service, they do other things, but I don't know.
the real
I may be
answer
working
is,
with the legislature.
your insurance company pays for one form of transportation. So they will either pay for the helicopter or the ambulance. Think of the helicopter as the ferry. So they'll be happy, believe me, Medicare would be happy to pay for the ferry. But then you're gonna get the bill for the ambulance.
Yeah,
And you aren't gonna like that bill.
and my question was, is anything happening to fix that problem?
No, no.
Between our legislature and the insurance companies?
Oh, insurance companies are a business. Good luck.
Yeah.
I had 2 people hang up on me when I asked the question, and they said, we will pay for the ferry, but then we will not pay for the ambulance or anything that happens inside of it. So,
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
I
we were
know.
talking on it being, the ferry being an extension of the highway.
Yeah.
You know, it's just,
It would be if it didn't have a motor. If it didn't have a motor, it would be. A bridge doesn't have a motor,
yeah.
so that's why they don't get charged.
Should we still try to keep working on
You
it?
can try all you want.
To get them to,
I would try to figure out, yeah.
okay.
Sorry,
We tried.
you tried.
We're trying.
I know you were trying, because you asked me the same question. But yeah, it comes down to, because the boat is a form of transportation, your insurance company's paying for transportation. So when I take you to the helicopter, if I take you in the ambulance,
Yeah.
Door County doesn't bill you. because Medicare then would pay for the ambulance ride and not the helicopter. So it's like we weren't even there, it's like you walked to the helicopter, which I would like to see, that'd be kinda cool to watch.
How much is a ferry ride, an emergency ferry ride, like at night?
Super secret, I've heard anywhere from $7 to $7.50 at night, if we have to wake somebody up. I've heard if the last crew is left and they're just eating supper, I heard it's cheap, I don't know. That's a question for the ferry line. I know you are not getting billed anymore, because it's actually, they're billing Door County.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The county's trying to figure out if we can play with that transportation thing by us billing, is it one bill, one form of transportation? So that we are trying. I don't know if it's worked or not. So, we're actually writing up the ticket for the ferry. We hand them a thing that says, this is the case number to attach to. The ferry line sends the bill to Door County then at that point takes it. So, or bills for it, I don't know. Let's see here, what else do I have on my list before you? What's that? Okay. Few laws, as you heard, don't know why I accepted the chief of police. It's not like I have anything else on my plate. I mean, what's another job up here, right? We all do multiples. A few things I've been noticing, and with me being the only person for the next 3 months, probably, by the time we get a guy hired, you will see some new faces up here. This is not me telling you what you should or should not do. I am just telling you some things that the county might be looking at down in Door County. That if they get sent up here and they're not very happy, they might start looking for up here. Okay? So this is some just nice suggestions. Just remember that Wisconsin is a front plate state. If you have Wisconsin plates, you need a front and back, and they cannot be obstructed. Those really pretty things that say Bergstrom or Gandrud, technically those are illegal. Those are advertisements, and they are covering a part of the plate. The month always goes on the left side. The date goes on the right. Always. That is the proper way to put on your back plate.
The year on the right, the
Yeah.
month on the left, yeah.
Yeah. I will tell you, a state trooper will pull you over for having it backwards. It is improper display. Just if you happen to see a state trooper.
So what is the proper way of it?
The proper way would be the month on the left, the year on the right. And you do have to have front and back plates in the state of Wisconsin. So if you want a reason to get pulled over, leave the front one off. You might need a new nice officer, who knows?
I've noticed this up here, sometimes people like they're starting to lose, you can't read like the first one.
Yeah, contact the state. That is a fault in the state. Our prisoners aren't doing very well on stamping, and the paint's coming off. They're having issues. They're having issues with the paint. When they tried to make them all reflective, that paint does not stick. Maybe it's not lead. I don't know. So, and we have great weather. If you ride a bike, remember you have to follow all the rules of the road. That includes those octagons with the red stripe around them that say stop. Last year my record was 43 bikes in one night for not stopping at stop signs. It was right after we had a kid get hit on a bicycle. So I said, you know what? Now you play my game. So I pulled over more bicycles the rest of the night. It was fun.
That wasn't the bike race.
What's that?
Not the bike race, though.
No, not the bike race. That's a whole nother. I go hide on that night.
We moved the nightlight, thing off the road.
Well, people use the stop signs like they're stoplights.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, one person goes, then we can all go through, it's that, remember how many we took for that?
Oh, see, my dad told me that any this nice, lovely weather we've had the last couple of days, remember if it's foggy, those automatic lights don't turn on by themselves. It is a state law, if your windshield wipers are on, or you can't see 500 feet, your lights have to be on, front and back. Not just your driving lights. The driving lights will just be the front lights, your tail lights won't be on unless you actually turn them knob.
Okay.
Our stupid Subarus are horrible that way. So, and there's a lot of Subarus up here. Let's see, driver's license issues. I bring this up only because I had somebody say that Gary pulls you over once, he's gonna take your driver's license. That is not true. There's a process to that. If you can't drive, it's not just Gary picking off your driver's license. I don't like taking driver's licenses away. I had to take my grandpa's away. It sucks, right? It's our independence. If I had lost my driver's license, I'm driving anyway. I love to drive. That would absolutely devastate me, okay? I would figure out how to drive my grandson's go-kart. Or my lawnmower, whatever. So just understand, it's not one of those things where I'm gonna go, you know what, I'm taking somebody's driver's license away today. You actually, what the process is if you are involved in some kind of incident, crash, speed, blowing a stop sign and almost hitting a kid in front of me, and you don't understand the laws and the rules and you can't explain what you did wrong, at that point, I get to do 5 pages of paperwork. So it's not like I just love taking people's driver's license away. I have to physically do 5 pages of writing to take somebody's driver's license. I send that to the state. About 30 days later, the state comes back and says, you know, Gary was right. He's got enough stuff here. We got camera, video, all this stuff. At that point, they'll give you 30 days roughly to go to your primary care provider, get a eye test, a hearing test, and a cognitive exam. Just to basically, can you do all the things? If the doctor doesn't sign off on that, at that point the state will take your driver's license. Okay? I don't like doing it. But my job is to keep you guys safe, and if I have to, I will. I've only done it a few times up here, and they were all needed. So. One was a car accident, and one was somebody that decided the lake was a better place for their car. Kind of missed the turn. Yeah, car wash. So I actually tried to get out of that one, and I called the DNR board and I said, they are illegally fishing. He did not bite on that. I tried.
How does that apply to alternative forms of motor vehicles that are allowed on the road?
They're all stupid. Yes. Okay. If you have an ATV, a UTV, that thing has to be as far to the right side of the road, not the right side of your lane, where the concrete ends. That's where you need to be driving. Okay? You can be passed in a no passing zone on a UTV. You can only go 25 miles an hour on a UTV. No matter where you're at. Except for town, it goes down to 10 miles an hour. Between the bank and the store is 10 miles an hour. So if you have a UTV, ATV, 25, that's it. If you have a snowmobile, you can go the speed limit. Stupid DNR rules. I don't know why. But, yeah, snowmobiles can, UTVs can.
Yeah.
So, okay. Any questions on those?
Mopeds.
Mopeds are dumb. They have every right of the road just like a car. Yeah, get rid of them all. That is our biggest call volume on the island in summer.
Moped?
Is the mopeds.
So your tip is, because there'll be help coming up off island to help you, you know, with policing, that depending on the individuals coming up, they could be real sticklers, they could be.
That might be just their normal.
Yeah.
State troopers, just understand that state troopers, that is their life. Traffic is their life. That is what they do. them on a domestic call. They will find out how to give you a speeding ticket.
But don't they know about the island ways?
Yes. And every Islander you see pull over in Door County, that should tell you that it doesn't work. Okay. The other thing is, old medications. We still take them at the police department if we're there, business hours. Please don't leave them hanging on the door. There are still little kids that go play baseball and kickball on Friday nights, and I don't need them dipping into whatever prescription you have. So if you can't get a hold of, if you don't, okay, this is the 8th time I passed the police department and Gary's got the same bicycle pulled over for running the stop sign, and I don't want to bother him on his traffic stop, just leave a message and I usually come pick him up. I will pick him up at your house. We also take sharps containers. And I have extra sharps containers at the office if you need them. That's a program I feel highly about and we are going to continue that. So.
Would it be legal for me to collect them and drop them off for you?
No.
Okay.
No, not unless you had an office that actually had a box lockable. It's a thing.
Got it.
No. We actually had to get fingerprinted to have the box to collect the drugs in a police department. Inside the door's locked at night. I've been looking for a way to put one outside, but then we get the, hey, thanks for doing your job card inside the drugs.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to touch it. But,
Gary, I have a question.
Yep.
Since it's obvious then that these bike, people who are on bikes are creating so much havoc, would there be some way for us to get that information to them when they're on the ferry? And we know there's just dozens and dozens and dozens that come in every day.
I inform them about 7 minutes after they're on the boat when they get to the Albatross corner. That's where I sit, watching. Yeah, they know.
They know.
Yeah, I actually gave my only, so I'm gonna confess, the only bike ticket I've ever given was to a guy that had the safety helmet, knee pads, elbow pads, yellow shirt, flashing lights, and then he ran the stop sign.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Mr. Safety, come on, do better. He's the only guy I give a ticket to, because he should know better with all that safety stuff. So,
This is kind of a silly question, but we know what our maximum speed limits are here in different places in Indiana. Is there a minimum? So when we get behind somebody on a moped and they're riding side by side and they're driving really slow.
so they are never riding side by side, because that's against the law.
Yeah, but we see them, and we see the bikes side by side too, and it says ride single file. But is there any rule that says for a moped to move into the bike lane to let the cars go by?
Actually, they can't go in the bike lane because they're a licensed motorized vehicle.
Right. So
Because then they are outside the lane of traffic, and I can pull over the moped and give them a ticket for crossing the line.
But is there a way to give them a ticket for going too slow?
No, only on a freeway. Yeah.
So we're stuck.
Yeah, a bicycle you can pass anywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where you can pass.
Where it's safely passable.
Yeah.
Alright, so a lot of people are gonna ask you this question. Can I pass a moped who's on the right side, still in the lane?
No, not in a no passing zone.
If you're in a passenger.
If you're in a passing zone, you can pass it. My favorite story, I was brand new in this island. I was doing traffic, and I got a phone call from one of our citizens that said, Gary, I just got a question for you. And I said, okay, what is it? Can I pass a vehicle if I've never left my lane of traffic in a no passing zone? Well, that's interesting. The gentleman happened to spend more time on the other side of the road than in his lane of traffic. So he was just sightseeing. But
Well, remember, we don't have a yellow line on most of our roads, so they're in the center.
So what about farm equipment? Is it the same as if you have a double line?
No.
You can't pass?
farm equipment, you just questions, you are in the state of Wisconsin. You are in the state of farming.
Yeah, they have the right.
Don't ever call me for a question for a farmer. And it's not because you're sitting with one. Farm equipment actually has more rights just under a horse.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. A farmer can actually drive his tractor down the interstate.
Yes.
So, as long as he's got the order sign on the back, yeah. And no, you cannot pass it in no passing zone. You are stuck behind that lovely farmer that brings us all our goods. And you should thank him for that. Like I do. The ones I get a kick out of are the ones with the really tall tires. I think I can get under it. I've looked at those roll ones and I think I can make it. Horse and buggy are even worse. Don't even get near them. Because if you spook a horse and buggy, that actually, you can be charged with that too. So,
So if I'm riding my lawnmower down the road,
Oh, very
and
well.
I see you, should I just swerve over on the shoulder to look like I'm mowing?
am I using my lawnmower to snow blow your mailbox? That's the question. Any other questions? Come on, you gotta beat me up worse than that. Last time we made it to 3:30, so.
Not necessarily a question, but you mentioned something the last time you were here about everybody needs to make sure that their driveways are wide enough.
Thank you.
And that all your equipment.
Yes. So the town just adopted the county ordinance, basically. There are a little bit of changes. One is a height requirement. I am not the driveway police. You are not gonna get a ticket from me for driveways. I will tell you though, if my ambulance goes down and gets scratched and you are not following the driveway rules, then you might get a letter from me saying that you need to fix your driveway within 30 days. After that, the town can actually go in and just do whatever they want to make your driveway whatever they think the ordinance is.
Yeah.
So the 12 feet by 12 feet or 16 by 6, whatever it is. I didn't look at the last ordinance yet. I haven't been back to work for it yet. But whatever that ordinance is, if you are not within there, Johnny and his crew can actually come in and they'll just tax you out of your tax bill. So at state rate hours, not town hours.
Well, so the fire trucks can get down the driveway.
Yes. And turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great thing. There are driveways in this island that we will not get a fire department truck through. There's driveways that we can barely get an ambulance to. So. But we are not, unless we go to that call for a 911 call, we are not sending out, we aren't the driveway police. You will only get a letter if you call 911 and I scratch my squad car and now I have to explain to the town board why I have a scratch. Or a dent. That was from the deer. Stupid deer. It got me the other morning. Right in the side. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Oh, thank you. I don't know if you've noticed, we've had a few power outages the last couple of years. And something new to this island. These ice storms seem to happen 3 days apart from each other, a year apart. Literally, it was 3 days. The tornado happened, so like this week, so the weather tonight, watch. So a couple things we've been noticing as fire department and EMS is we're not very prepared for something we should be pretty prepared for. It's amazing that we live on an island and a lot of people up here don't keep 72 hours worth of food in their house. My dad always told me if the power goes out and the bad guys come, you should be able to lock yourself in the basement for 72 hours. That's what I always live by. You should be able to live without power for 72 hours, whether that's having enough bottled water. Don't forget about your pets. My dogs drink a lot of water. I have 3 of them that all stand that tall. They will go through some water. Flushing the toilets. I went out and bought a portable generator this year. It's the greatest thing I've ever done. It at least gives me Starlink and my telephone. So I'm not bored I can actually run my dish TV and one TV up. It's in extra batteries. That's the hard part. LED flashlights, that's the way to go. An LED flashlight will last about 10 times longer than a regular flashlight. You can buy them cheap at the dollar store, those little ones that go on your key fob. I have probably about 8 of them in my car alone because I lose them, and then I find it, and then I lose it again with another one. I swear they mate underneath my seat. They might. A battery-powered radio or crank radio is a good idea. Is everybody's phone working this morning?
No, not well.
No. Cellcom is down, or was when I walked in the door. Yeah. So, just like a few weeks ago when we had the ice storm, calling is tough. Check on your neighbors. Just be a good neighbor up here. If you know of a neighbor that maybe can't get out, just check on them. We tried. The fire department, I think we said we missed one person's house that I don't know how we missed. It's because I wasn't here running the show. I was off fire. I'm blaming Adam. Assistant Chief Stefan, if you have any complaints and you were missed, his phone number is. I came just in time. I came the next day and they said everything was handled. And I went home. So, have a first aid kit, cash. The ATMs might not work. I know Jill was meeting people at the back of the grocery store with cash. A notebook, she was writing it down, and you could come the next day and pay. All those kinds of things. Make sure you have a carbon monoxide and a fire alarm that is not hooked up to your electrical system. All the new houses have to be a part of your electrical system. Those batteries die within about 48 hours, I found out. Because all mine were driving me nuts. And when your house is really quiet, the chirping in the basement where you can't find it is horrible. A good place for a carbon dioxide or monoxide detector, according to the last guy that had my house, because I obviously didn't know I had this one, was a closet. It was plugged in, but I don't know. So, it must have been his emergency shelter. It's the only thing I can think of. It's the one room that has no windows in our basement, so I'm guessing it was his emergency shelter. All power lines that are on the ground are live. Just think of it that way. Don't ever touch them. Even as fire department people, we don't get near them. We have a great REA team. Now I think they're full staff, or they will be here shortly. We rely on them heavily. They are fantastic to work with in emergency. There aren't two guys that work harder on this island than those guys in the bucket trucks. Give them room, please. I'm not I always give tickets on, but if I see anybody drive too close to one of my linemen or one of my firemen, you're getting a ticket. That's just one I can guarantee you. So, if you want to try it, I'm working tomorrow. But that's the only one that I guarantee you're getting a ticket on. The next one is kids out of car seats. I just don't give warnings for those. So, portable chargers, power banks. Walmart makes them. They're about $19. You can plug them in all the time. They will charge your phone about 4 times. If you get a big enough one, it will tell you how many times it will charge your phone. Me and my wife have about 4 of them laying around the house. And they'll charge right off my generator. They plug into a USB port. We leave them in the wall all the time. Joan, do you guys still have those little flashlights that plug into the wall? Or didn't you have them for a while? It might be the school I'm thinking. They make a flashlight that actually plugs in the wall, and if the power goes out, that flashlight will come on so you can find it. It's made for emergencies. So, what's that?
That goes on.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, no, this is one that it's portable, so you can unplug it.
You can buy them in bulk.
Yeah, Amazon has them in 20 packs.
Buy
They're
them
great.
around the house, they're awesome. Highly recommended.
I just learned about something during the ice storm that I didn't know about, and I believe Matt Cox knew about it. There are light bulbs now that you screw into your lamp. It's battery in it,
Yeah.
Yes.
and it's charging the battery when your lamp is on, and they can be dimmed, they can be regular, 3 ways or whatever, all the different hundreds, 60.
Yep, Menards has them.
And you can unscrew that bulb and it will stay on and you
Yep.
can use it like a flashlight.
It's just a flashlight.
And screw it in someplace else or set it down or whatever.
I just want to walk around like this.
Yeah.
Got an idea?
I didn't even know those existed. You can get them from Amazon. They have all kinds of them and I haven't ordered any.
Yeah, they're super cheap.
Amazing. They're like bulb with a battery.
So I went down to Menards last week. It was on my list. Guess what? The one thing I forgot. That stupid light bulbs. I left them there. Food storage again. The national, they tell you to have at least 2 weeks worth of food. Our guys are way better than that. 72 hours of food will get you by. If you think you're hungry after that, you probably have snacks. We have a lot of snacks in our house. If you need some, I got a box of cereal you can have. I know the Red Cross is usually up. The reason I say 72 hours, besides my dad, is most of the time emergency activations don't happen until 48 hours. So that means they are leaving Green Bay, Milwaukee, whatever it is, to activate to come here after 48 hours. We can't declare an emergency until about 48 hours. Each community should be able to, that's when I was with the Red Cross emergency response team down in Sheboygan, and it wasn't an emergency until 72 hours. So, they didn't even activate, it wasn't worth their time, so. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Thank you.
Before we do, stop though, I just want everybody to be aware, and I just became aware of this too, that all of these speaking engagements are on our website. And Casey has just upgraded.
I turned off the camera, so it's not. How come it's got a
So
red light?
if you want to rewatch something that we've had in these luncheons, you can. If there's topics, things in today's talk that you didn't quite catch, you can get it on our website.
Hopefully next time I'll have a new officer you guys can all meet. That's the goal.
And it takes a couple of weeks, so,
Yes.
it's not before.
She's gotta edit all my bad words out. All my funny stuff. That's why I try to do it, just to make her work. She tells me I'm gonna be on camera. Let's see how many times I can make her giggle behind the computer.
Gary, thank you for all you have done for the island. And
Thank you.
we are so
Like Sarah and I have talked, it's kind of a standing joke in our house. This is the longest 2 years of my life. Sarah and I moved to this island thinking that it was going to be a 2-year get experience and move on. And this stupid place bit me in the rear end and we're here yet. After 2 years, I stopped and I asked my wife, I said, this is a 2-year, what are we going to do? She goes, you can move. So, yeah. She said, you can move, I'm not going anywhere. So, here we are. So, thank you everybody for the invite.
Thank you.
If you get sick of me, don't ask Elise for me to talk again.
That's fun.
I am about 20 minutes under.
If you want to fill out a survey sheet on the tables, and there's some free goodies up here on the front table, some clips and some COVID tests, and some
Narcan, fentanyl,
Narcan, and,
fentanyl strips, COVID.
okay, yeah. So come and check the things out here if you think you'd like to go with a little package. Thank you.